Quest 2 resolution is only getting better as we approach the launch of the Quest 3. This week, Meta actually introduced a new developer feature called Super Resolution that can be implemented as soon as the V55 software launch on the Quest 2. This is a new ability to better upscale the graphics on current games and is completely separate from the change we recently covered that was talking about the improvements to the CPU and GPU that launched on the Quest 2 and the Quest Pro. With that, now we're seeing better GPU and CPU performance for better games, and with this new technique called Super Resolution, this is going to add an ability to have a VR optimized edge-aware scaling and sharpening. This is built in collaboration with the Qualcomm graphics team, the developers of course of the Snapdragon processor that is inside of the Quests. What this means is that each game is already upscaling to the resolution of the headset, whether that's the resolution that is actually designed by the developers. Using this technique, it can sharpen the edges around objects in the game without blurring them as much. So before, as you've probably seen in Quest games, sometimes the edges of things look blurry or off, and with this technique we can actually see much clearer, less jagged edges, but without the cost of blurring that we see with a lot of other anti-aliasing software. Interestingly, this even applies to use through Oculus Link for PC VR content, making that have the ability to look even sharper on the headset. It's pretty exciting. We're still seeing updates and seeing things get better and better on the Quest 2 as we get close to that Quest 3 launch, as there's been a lot of people questioning, will the Quest 2 lose support down the road like the Quest 1 has? And so far, it looks like we're going to keep getting improvements at least up until the last minute the Quest 3 comes out, and probably even after. As we get closer to the Quest 3 launch, it was funny to see that the Quest 3 was revealed just days before Apple's big convention when they had revealed the Apple Vision Pro. Now Meta's CTO Boz, aka Andrew Bosworth, has come out saying that this actually had nothing to do with the Apple Vision Pro. He's even quoted as saying, "People won't believe me, I don't care. I'm telling the truth. You can believe me or not, that's up to you." This is funny because a lot of us were surprised that they suddenly announced, hey, we're going to announce something like 5 days before the Apple Vision Pro was announced, and they showed off the Quest 2 and started giving us a lot more details about it. When it comes to this, Boz went into detail saying that what they found out is that when people are interested in a headset that they talk about usually in September or October, people may have already chosen over the summer what they're looking to buy for Christmas that year, and it doesn't sway their buying decisions as much as if they can get it out a little bit earlier. And he said that the timing did work out very well, staying just ahead of the Apple Vision Pro announcement though. I'd love to know from you down below, do you think that that really didn't have anything to do with it, that it didn't rush the decision or change the way they launched it? It was interesting that they gave us all those details, but now we're still waiting on that September 27th Meta Connect Day to find out the rest about the Quest 3 and hopefully see pre-orders open up then. If you've been looking for some more non-gaming content to help entertain you on your Quest 2, it looks like Amaze VR is going to continue to launch VR concerts on their app, possibly with the success that they saw with the Megan Thee Stallion concert, now with the new lineup from Zara Larsson. If the name Zara Larsson doesn't ring a bell, it might be familiar if you've heard the song Symphony with Clean Bandit, and unlike the Megan Thee Stallion, which was rated mature 17 and up only, this one is just rated teen, opening that to a wider audience of people who are interested in seeing what these merges of real people in virtual environments doing concerts looks like. If you go into the app, you can see there's a lot of other upcoming artists that are going to be coming out later. Each one so far seems to give one free song from the concert that you can check out, and if you want to buy a pass, it's $6.99, but you do only get 1 year access to that. I've always been a fan of VR music videos. It's interesting to see what these concerts look like because it's not like a conventional concert where you're in a crowd watching. It's a little bit more up close and personal, and sometimes for me, they're a little too in your face. If you go try these out, you'll see what I mean, because the camera gets really close and you're almost like a, whoa, step back for a moment, but you know, some people probably like that approach with these too. For those days when you want a video call but you just don't want to be in person yourself, your avatar may actually be stepping in the place of you and potentially even on your Quest headset. Meta had already released avatar calling on Messenger and Instagram for iPhone and Android smartphones, basically using the camera on it, similar to what a lot of people tried with filters that change your avatar, but this of course using your more customized avatar that's supposed to look like you. In response to a question of whether or not this was coming to Quest headsets, Meta said they were working on it. Granted, the Quest 2 and even the Quest 3, which looks like it's going to lack face tracking, this wouldn't be that compelling of an experience, but for the few of us out there who got the Quest Pro for one reason or another, it's possible that we may see facial avatars that are using our exact movements to make video calls similar to what we've seen coming with the Vision Pro and its FaceTime. I struggle a bit to see the case use here personally, but would you want to be able to make video avatar face calls from your Quest 2? Let me know in the comments. The dream of getting PSVR 2 to work on PC keeps getting closer and closer to realization. So far, far we had seen, the PSVR 2 only works in cinema mode and only with certain GPUs, as I personally tried it myself and couldn't get anything to show up inside the headset. We reported on this a bit before though. Ivory, one of the developers that made the original PSVR work on PC, has been working hard on the PSVR 2 to see if it's possible. They got some software working if they had a Linux PC in between with their own custom software. Now they have actually gotten some positional tracking to work as well. They have figured out the 6 degrees of freedom positional tracking data that Sony was using to translate to the PS5 and found a way to feed it into Steam VR. This is still using lower signal input from the headset. It still doesn't have the controller's tracking, but every step closer this becomes keeps making us think maybe we're going to be able to find a way to use the PSVR 2 on PC, especially for those out there who are curious about the headset haptics and haven't been able to test that out any other way. Much like the PSVR 1 on PC, it does look like this will be tough to accomplish and probably won't be nearly as simple as buying a cheaper PC VR headset, but I'm interested to keep watching what's happening here and see if they pull this off anytime soon. For those of you out there who weren't a part of Steam VR in its early days on PC and the different headsets, it got a little complicated depending on what controller you were using, what game was built with that controller in mind, and whether or not it was functioning directly with the game. Now Steam VR is making it a little easier by supporting automatic controller binding. This meaning if you're using something like a Windows mixed reality controller that wasn't built with support directly for the game, it works to automatically bind the buttons to where they should be to help make this work better, especially in the early days of VR when you had something like a Vive wand that didn't have any sort of analog stick on it anywhere, and movement a lot of times was set to this pad that you would push in, and it wasn't anything like the controllers we have now that mostly all have analog sticks on them. Steam VR is still working to make things a little bit easier for the PC VR crowd, especially as there's been a lot of fracturing in the PC world with how many different headsets you can get now, including newer names that you might not have even heard of, like the DPVR E4 headset we have to test out. Obviously, native support for any controller is going to work the best, but this is a good step forward to help people that are still PC VR enthusiasts get the most out of their experience. Trying to marry both the worlds of standalone and PC VR, Pimax now has its Crystal VR headset available. This headset made a splash because not only is it a standard PC VR headset, but it also has a Qualcomm Snapdragon XR2 in it that gives you the ability to use it standalone. With the modular design, the Pimax Crystal has cameras on the outside that can sense its surroundings, or you can even swap out the front for a Lighthouse-based tracking for that perfect tracking. This really helping the crowd that had already built a setup based on Lighthouse tracking, but also wants to have that wireless connectivity. Priced a bit high, of course, the Pimax Crystal is $1,599. That does come with the headset, the 2 controllers, the charging dock, extra lenses, and of course the power and connection kit, not including Lighthouse tracking if you are going that way with it. It's interesting to see a bit more of a marriage between the standalone versus PC VR crowd, as we've seen a lot of the PC VR crowd are actually using Quest 2s as they are the most affordable headset. This headset is trying to give you everything good that PC had without the Quest while also giving you that capability. At this point, I'm curious how many of you out there are still considering a PC VR headset. Are you going to only use a Quest on a PC? Are you looking to have a separated one that's dedicated just to PC gaming to make things a little bit simpler? I know when I used the Rift S for years alongside the Quest, it was nice to have that one headset. Didn't have batteries to worry about, it was just always there ready to go, but it is a big investment. Another week of VR news, a lot going on. Things might be a little spotty over the next week. We've got some traveling going on, but we'll do our best to keep you updated and informed of what's going on. And if any of you are out in Pittsburgh or near it, actually let me know. Hit me up. You might actually go to DM me, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, Threads, JBratVR, because if you're out there, I'm actually gonna be at a convention. Maybe some of you can come out, we can actually meet and hang out there. So hit me up, let me know. I'd love to see some of you who've done that before at conventions. It's always really cool and really fun. But thanks for coming out, and I will see you in another reality.